Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And if you've been following all the recent information and potential leaks regarding Fallout 76, which this video assumes you have, then you may be currently having some very mixed feelings regarding the game potentially being a multiplayer title. But just in case you don't already know what I'm talking about, shortly before Bethesda announced Fallout 76 on May 30th, a writer for the gaming blog Kotaku named Jason Schreier correctly predicted what Bethesda's announcement would be before it even happened. After Fallout 76 was announced, he went on to share quite a bit more alleged information about the game that he claims to have received from various insiders and leakers at Bethesda. I talked quite a bit about all of this information in a previous video I uploaded a few days ago, link in the description. According to Schreier, his sources claimed that Fallout 76 was in fact a multiplayer game, quote, inspired by Rust and DayZ, and that players who went in expecting or hoping for a traditional single-player RPG would in fact be very disappointed. Now, obviously, these leaks, if you will, sent a pretty large subset of the community into a frenzy. And why shouldn't they have? It would be a huge breakaway from what we're used to seeing out of Bethesda content. And this leak seemed pretty legitimate. Most alleged leaks we see regarding Bethesda titles come from nameless Reddit and 4chan users who provide literally no credentials. But this information is coming out of an established, very much named journalist who had already correctly predicted Fallout 76's announcement beforehand, and seems to certainly have some insider knowledge that the rest of us all lack. Well, today I'm going to play devil's advocate and discuss why I'm fairly confident that if you are hoping for a non-multiplayer Fallout game, despite these leaks, there's still a lot of reason to hold out some hope regarding Fallout 76. At least until Bethesda shares more information at this year's E3. Then we'll know for sure. Allow me to take you back to December 7th of 2017. You can probably already see where I'm going with this, but sue me. A little over 6 months ago, Bethesda showed this video off at the Video Game Awards featuring Linda Carter and launching the hashtag SavePlayer1. Now, I'm not going to be able to show off the entire video, as it's about a minute and a half, and I don't want to play another game of copyright jujitsu. But the essence of the video and the greater hashtag SavePlayer1 campaign was Bethesda was largely doubling down on their commitment to single-player titles, and very much taking a bit of a shot at publishers who seem to be abandoning that game style. At the time, Call of Duty World War II and Star Wars Battlefront 2, a non-controversial game, were still fresh off release, and very much in everyone's mind. So many people felt it refreshing to see this video shown off at the Game Awards. I know I said I wouldn't show the whole thing, but here's just a clip so you can get the idea.
But here at Bethesda, we are working toward a solution. We make all sorts of games, but single-player experiences are a big part of our DNA.
As mentioned, in addition to a video, Bethesda also launched the SavePlayer1 hashtag, published a piece on their website, Bethesda.net, and donated $100,000 to fund scholarships to various potential game developers. Now, in the grand scheme of things, $100K probably isn't much to Bethesda, but it's more than I donated, so I commend them regardless. Now, this whole SavePlayer1 campaign or movement or video or whatever you want to call it only came out about 6 months ago. And at least, in my eyes, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for Bethesda to invest so much in showing how much they care about the single-player experience, to only announce a few months later that what's largely their flagship, most profitable developer is in fact working on a multiplayer survival-esque game. It would set the stage for a huge amount of backlash, and rightfully so in my eyes. I think we can all say with relative confidence that 6 months ago Bethesda was probably already very certain on what type of game Fallout 76 was, or is going to be. Sure, during development, many games do dramatically change in their direction. However, just 6 months before its announcement, and likely less than a year before release, considering Bethesda's patterns, would be way too late to decide that your game is now going to depend on a multiplayer experience. So, in my opinion, it seems like the fellows inside of Bethesda felt that either Fallout 76, or whatever they were calling it mid-development, were confident that the game would at least offer an enjoyable single-player experience. Either that, or they were being tremendously ignorant towards their community. It just wouldn't make any sense at all to invest so much capital in promoting this idea of single-player games, only for your largest, most well-known developer to completely go against that. Additionally, a Bethesda Game Studios developer, an employee on Instagram, made a few comments, suggesting the community still doesn't have the full story, and even told someone who feared Fallout 76 would just be a Rust clone that they didn't have to worry and they, quote, wouldn't be disappointed. Of course, he eventually deleted those comments. Let's just hope Todd and Pete didn't get too mad at him. Now, that said, I don't want to totally discredit and abandon the recent alleged multiplayer leaks. Aside from actual developers, folks like Jason Schreier appear to be almost as credible as it gets. It would make no sense for someone like him to just be making all this multiplayer stuff up, which is why I personally believe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Keep in mind, from this point forward, the video enters pure speculation grasping at straws territory, more so than we're already in, and I'm very likely to be proven wrong, so don't take what I say with any sort of huge amount of seriousness or expectation. I believe that Fallout 76 will be an overwhelmingly single-player focused game, but with optional co-op mode or additional multiplayer elements added in, similar to Far Cry 4, a game that was primarily single player, but if you so desired, you could bring a friend with you. I wouldn't find that too far-fetched. Recently, there's actually been a lot of talk about upcoming co-op multiplayer mods for older Bethesda Game Studios games that have garnered a lot of hype, and maybe the studio said, we should try something like that out. The article Jason Schreier posted on Kotaku even claims that Fallout 76 was, quote, originally prototyped as a multiplayer version of Fallout 4. And when I hear that, to me that sounds like a cooperative experience. At least that's what I've always thought of when I've thought of multiplayer Fallout games. And while Schreier also notes that his sources claimed Fallout 76 was inspired by DayZ and Rust, that can also be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, Todd Howard said Settlement Mode was inspired by Minecraft to some degree. I think what they meant to convey is a deeper dependency on survival elements, rather than servers with 200 people where you have to run 6 miles to find a banana. But that's just my own current personal idea of what I think Fallout 76 will be like at this very moment. Nothing is set in stone until E3. So until then, we are all, as I said, grasping at straws. Maybe Fallout 76 will indeed be a Rust clone, or maybe Jason Schreier's sources are really just lucky guessers with no affiliation to the project whatsoever, and it actually will be an exclusively single-player title. We'll have to wait and see. But with that, we're going to wrap up. Thanks for watching, everyone. Where do you think the truth behind Fallout 76's potential multiplayer mode lies? Do you think it is going to have servers with hundreds of people and base building? Or do you think it'll be something more akin to Fallout 4, just with a friend? I love reading your comments in the section down below. Again, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.